So the social issue that I started looking up was about poverty and its effects on schools. And so pretty much a brief overview is how if you are poor, you're stuck with going to a not as good school as somebody who has more money. And then that also led into the concept of how our budget cuts are being used wrongly and how they're cutting, how we always say the children are our future, but yet we cut away their education, so it's not exactly feeding to the idea. Um, then after that, it evolved to, like, it was a huge chain. When you look up one thing, then you start finding other things. It's all about how pretty much the common theme was how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. So on when I was looking up, I found a few editorial comics. Um, so one was a classroom, and there's a bunch of kids sitting down, and then it's relatable in a funny sense because as a kid we've all sat behind someone who is way taller than us and we can't see what's in front. But in this case, that person who's taller is poverty, and so the kids can't see what they're learning because poverty is in their way. And the other ones are a collection of more bluntly written comics where it's showing how politicians, how they talk pretty much lies about how they believe in education, but yet they slash the budgets of schools. And so on the video side, I watched one video, really long video, on the concept of starvation. And although they might not seem very related, it focused mostly on how schools how little public schools get money for feeding feeding the children and how much money goes into it. And it's something like $1 and I can't remember, $1.25 per meal, and and that's how much the kid gets for their lunch. And so how little nutrients you could get from that because you're trying to go and you're pretty much trying to find the cheapest food as you can. Usually that's artificial, and then that affects school behaviors because you're not getting fed well, so you can't focus. And they pretty much track the life of these kids, and they showed like what they were like with food and what they were like without food, and how they were affected by having little food because of food stamps and how people think it's a waste, but these kids need it to survive. And then also on public school food and how it's just there's too low money going into it, so they're getting fed poorly.